All right, guys, now that we have our server and domain name all set up, we want to go ahead and set up an FTP account. FTP stands for File Transfer Protocol, and we will be using it to easily transfer files to our server from our desktop. The first thing we need to do is create an FTP account, and we're going to do that by logging into your cPanel. As you guys can see, I'm already logged in here. And we're going to go over in our first section, our files section, we're going to go over and select FTP accounts. Now it's very simple to create an FTP account. cPanel makes it really easy. Here, it's going to ask you to simply provide a login. So almost like creating an email, we're going to provide a login at your domain name minus Fluence Web. So this one I'm actually going to call, I'm just going to call upload. You could put anything, any username you want in there. I'm just going to call mine upload. So when I log in, it's going to be upload@fluenceweb.com. And then I'm going to provide a password. All right, and we're going to re-enter our password. Perfect. Now this step is very important. Here on a directory path, we want to select our home root directory for a public HTML folder, right? So typically, since we're the administrators and it's our account, I want to put in public underscore HTML. And you notice it's going to give it to you. I usually just click on it, right? This will be the home directory for all the public folders. So for example, if you go to your domain name, here mine's already up. If I go to my domain name, fluenceweb.com, you know, it just shows me an empty page index. There's not even an index file. This is the public HTML folder. In some scenarios, let's say maybe sometimes I have clients and they're like, oh, I want to upload my pictures to, you know, a certain folder, or they want FTP access. Here I could create a different path that, you know, that's as far as they go. They only have access to that folder and they can't see anything above that. But again, this is for ourselves. So we're going to put public HTML. For quota, we're just going to leave it as unlimited. And then we're going to go ahead and hit create FTP account. Account created. And here we have our login. It's going to be upload@fluenceweb. And we have our public HTML. And if we ever need to change our password, forget our password, we could change it here. Now here, if we hit this button on configure FTP client, it'll give us all the information that we need, right? So our username, our FTP server, ftp.yourdomainname.com, and the port, right? It also gives us some download files for easy configuration, but it's really simple, right? So we have an FTP username created, and next we need to download an FTP client. There's some popular ones right here: Core FTP, FileZilla, CyberDuck. So I'm going to go ahead and go with FileZilla. If you guys have a Mac computer, you could download CyberDuck as well. So to download FileZilla, we're going to go to FileZilla-project.org, right? So if you Google FileZilla, you know, just make sure you're going to FileZilla-project.org. Sometimes there's a lot of other websites that offer downloads, but it's going to come bundled with like McAfee or some other software, right? We're going to click download FileZilla client, download FileZilla client again, and then the FileZilla, the first one's fine. We don't need to get the pro one or the one with the manual. You hit download and go ahead and install the program. Now I already have it installed, so I'm not going to go through the whole installation process, but if you guys have any troubles installing it, feel free to send me an email and we could discuss those. I'm going to cancel this real quick, and I'm just going to go ahead and open my program. So I already have it on my computer, right? When you first open FileZilla, it's going to have all your folders, right? So it's gonna have your drive here, just as if you were browsing your computer, right? And up here, you'll notice we'll have the host, username, and password, and a port, right? So for host, it's always going to be FTP dot your domain name. So if I want to connect to the server through FTP, I'm just going to go FTP dot fluenceweb.com, and then the username I picked, upload at fluenceweb.com. Again, you're going to use the username that you selected when you created your FTP account. If you don't remember, if you forgot, you could always go back to FTP accounts, and it's going to be listed right here. So login, and then the password you selected, or you could change it. And then we have the manual settings. All right, so I'm going to put in my password. And then port 21. And I'm going to do the quick connect, right? If it gives you an error about a unknown security certificate, just go ahead, and you could always trust it. It's fine. We don't have an SSL on here, so we just hit OK. And now you guys notice on the right hand side is the remote site. This is where we're connected to, right? There's nothing in there still. We can verify that by going to our domain name, right? So we just have an empty CGI bin folder. And over here, you know, we could test it. We're going to test it by creating a directory. So I'm going to call this review. I'm going to do all lowercase, right? So now we have a review folder, right? So I went right click, create directory. If we refresh our web browser, we should now see that review folder. There it is, review folder. And if we click inside that folder, it's empty still. And what we're going to do is we're going to upload our review that we did. So I'm going to go ahead and upload my review for week 2, which is your About Me project completed with the CSS. So I just have to look through it. Over here on the left side of the screen is you could CSS local site. So this is our computer. So pretty much you would just transfer from one side to the other, or vice versa. All right, so I'm going to go look for my IS 140 week 3 actually. And I'm going to go ahead and select the About Me page. I think I had this image in there, and I had the style. So I selected those files. So you're pretty much going to select the same thing that you submitted for week 3. And we're just going to, I just always like to right click and hit upload, right? So it's going to take him from our computer, and it's going to put him inside the review folder, right? When it's done, it tells you all files are transferred successfully. And if we go verify that, right, so if I refresh this, now if I click inside my review folder, you'll see that I have my files there. So I have my about me.html, have the image and the style. So now if I click about me.html, it should load up that website. There we go. So it has the picture just like we have it. So let's go ahead and try that. Create an FTP account, and then a review folder, and under that review folder submit your assignment that you have already submitted.